Everybody get up, it's time to slam now.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, if you wanna jam.
This is called Lost Harmony. Follow your heart. Advice that pop culture has been feeding us for generations. Song after song after song dedicated to the dignity of this vessel. Listen to your heart. My heart will go on. A heart of gold, a heart of stone, a heart of glass. The groove is in the heart. Tell it to my heart. Where do broken hearts go? You're in my heart, the shape of my heart. A heart-shaped box, the seasons of my heart. Total eclipse of the heart. Hearts for sale. Look me in the heart. Kickstart my heart. Open your heart. Pardon my heart. Unbreak my heart. I'll never break your heart. Love is like an itching in my heart. Metal heart. Gypsy heart. Foolish heart. Born to break my heart. Nothing breaks like a heart. Don't go breaking my heart. Heartbreaker. Beer never broke my heart. My achy, breaky heart. This is how a heart breaks. Owner of a lonely heart, hungry heart, elastic heart, stereo heart, bonfire heart, heart on fire. You'll be in my heart. Give your heart a break. Has the word heart lost all meaning yet? Because when I look around at what our world has become, that is exactly what it seems. Our society appears to be fixated on the feelings we supposedly feel with this blood-pumping organ, but lately, I've been having a harder time hearing these tunes and melodies over the blood-curdling screams of suffering, torture, and grief, of hunger and trauma exponentially compounding amidst the brutality of ethnic cleansing. We urge ourselves to follow our hearts in matters related to the romantic, but what about in matters related to our humanity? What place does the heart take when you witness oppression and massacre daily? We sing along to the sound of our own heartbreaks, but what about theirs? We tap along to rhythms recounting the love we've had and lost, but what about the love being massacred? Is it not imperative that we listen to our hearts amidst the atrocities being committed before our eyes? Shouldn't it be our instinct to follow our hearts when the darkness of evil is shrouding our media with lies? Perhaps we sing about the heart because we are trying to seduce it back into existence. Trying to serenade into reality these heartfelt fantasies, these choruses of fleeting remedy, for the pain of not being able to feel what it truly means to listen to our hearts. This is called The Ultimate Stigma Hack. If I quote you at the beginning of a poem, it's likely because you said something hurtful and misguided, often related to the stigmas that this society has provided. And as amusing as it is to see each crooked face, every cringe, raised brow, and awkward breath to which my psychiatric diagnoses are often met, sometimes it's nice to skip the discomfort of undeserved judgment. Because my collection of acronyms spells out disabled, which means I have a nicely stigmatized reply to that inescapable capitalist inquiry. So, what do you do? My go-to reply is, I do my best. But as you can imagine, this response often lacks satisfaction. But if I answer I'm disabled, their face transitions from unsatisfied to deep suspicion because, as you can see, my exterior is thankfully in decent condition. So their chin tucks slightly in as they ask what exactly my disability is. As if I am being carded at the bar, but their face only contorts again when I present my credentials, citing my psychiatric differential. Then they usually stop talking. Sometimes they say something that gets them quoted in a poem, but as you notice, this poem did not start with a quote, but rather a promise to reveal a hack. I apologize. It's not exactly universal, but for me, it has been life-changing. Because it turns out that my brain contains more acronyms than just the ones in the DSM-5. Thanks to a series of seizures that nearly ended my life, I now have one spelled DNET, or Decembryoplastic Neopenithrial Tumor. Yes, that's a brain tumor. And I know my excitement seems misplaced, but the irony is too good not to praise. Not only has it been there my whole life, it is literally wrapped around my amygdala. The part of my brain specifically blamed for much of my psychiatric pain. My tumor is the bacon wrapped around the meat of my issues. And guess what? Everyone fucking loves bacon. Nobody doubts your struggles when you describe them with a term as crispy as tumor, so well greased with acceptance and dripping with fatty reverence, even though I am referring to the same exact cut of meat of the same organ as before. The scar on my scalp is looked at with respect, though it is directly related to all of the rest. The word tumor is not interrogated. There is no cringe, no raised brow, no suspicion or contorted grin, just a jaw dropped open, because surely brain surgery is the hardest thing in life to win, and I'm not saying it was easy. But for me, battling stigma sits much higher on the list of things that have made me wish I didn't exist. Yes, there are all kinds of risks. The medications alone make you want to die sometimes. I guess that's something I'm just used to, but forgive me for my excitement. It's not that I don't understand the gravity of a brain tumor, it's just the gravity of not being understood can outweigh things it never should. Brain surgery should be harder than finding a good therapist. It should be scarier than a psychiatric hospitalization. It sure as hell should be more intimidating than a social interaction. I didn't create the inequity. I'm simply enraged by the irony that the world could be so cruel as to make a brain tumor something I celebrate, something I savor my literal hat to surviving the kindness this world so desperately lacks. This is called Origin. Technically, I lost my virginity before I had sex. His knuckles plucked my cherry while I lay drunkenly on the stairs of some rich kid's house party. I think you started your period, he angrily grunted to me as he scrubbed a blood stain from his shorts. It wasn't until we had actual intercourse that I connected the dots. The lack of blood on my bed and the faint memory of the moans I let out on those stairs. The funny thing about moaning is that we do it in pleasure but also in pain. And I learned that if I drank enough, I could blur that line very well. Being intoxicated was my first trusted phase of foreplay. More than liquid confidence, liquor was my relief, my mask, and my competence, allowing me to perform well enough to avoid his rageful consequence, even when it crossed my mind to just say no. It seemed easier to take another shot of that good old 8 o'clock than to find myself caught in his anger's violent undertow. But one day, he showed up at my school, where instead of a blackout drunk, I was actually a perfect 4.0 student, thanks to the rageful consequences of a different male figure in my life. So I never dared mix my liquor with my locker, and it turned out that saying no felt a lot harder to do sober, so I weighed one man's disappointment against another and skipped my next class. All I could think about was how the opposite of liquor is sandpaper. And some years later, I did learn what sex should feel like, what consent should look like, what being wet really meant, that I don't need alcohol to be the best. I am a woman. I am a miraculous love machine that, when well oiled with respect, actually runs quite smoothly. I can make your, and more importantly, my wildest fantasies all come true without nothing but an authentic connection between me and you, because, baby, I am a woman. Not just a vagina with legs or lips with a throat. I am a whole human being with a heart, mind, body, and this other thing called autonomy. But you see, nobody ever taught me those things, and nobody taught him those things. So that is why I am saying these things. Not to blame him or shame him. Yes, I know those were still his fists inside 15-year-old me, but you cannot blame a puppet for obeying gravity. The directors of this show deserve just as much credit as the actors in tow. So tell me, how much longer do they get to script these lines before we cut the fucking strings? How much more trauma must be endured before the word abstinence is no longer the only option advertised in the sex ed brochure? We're taught that 2 + 2 = 4, but isn't it just as important to know that your body equals yours? And before you waste your breath, I'm not interested in another recycled apology. Do not tell me you're sorry. Tell me about how you've raised your children differently. Do not preach to me how much you love your mother and sister. Show me how you treat a female stranger. Because I need you to do more than simply remove your fist from my body. I need you to raise it in the air and march beside me as we come together to burn the fucking patriarchy. So some of you have heard this song. I wrote this as a birthday present to my past partner, Clay. This was a song written about both how him and I met and about my gratitude for the way that he loved me. He was one of the first people in my life to love me in a way that was truly unconditional. I had never experienced that before, and from the very first moment we met, he loved me in a way that it was just so easy to be myself, and that's what this song is really about. After he died, I added sort of a prelude verse to the song, so you'll hear that at the end. But originally it was for his birthday. This is called Easy to Be Me. Well, sunshine, would you help me with this thing? I've got to. Oh, you know what? I didn't turn on my musician thing. Can y'all even hear that? I'm not used to this. Okay. I'm glad I remembered that now. Okay, so it should sound better now. Is there a difference? Yes, thank you, Dre. Sorry, Zoom things. Y'all taught me that. All right, starting again. It's called Easy to Be Me. Oh, sunshine, won't you help me with this pain I've got to find a way to ease my mind today. Doesn't have to be much, or maybe it does. I'm just so hopeless to pretend anymore. Wasn't looking for a lover, not even a cure. Somehow I ended up with so much more. Somewhere between the sand and the wide blue sea, I found a love that makes it so easy to be me. To be me, to be me. Oh, sunshine, thank you for your helping. Oh, so kind to me. Oh, sunshine, don't wake me from this dream. Those smiling blue eyes are everything to me. Wasn't looking for a lover, not even a cure. Somehow I ended up with so much more. Somewhere between the sand and the wide blue sea, I found a love that makes it so easy to be me. To be me, to be me, to be me, to be me. Oh, sunshine, I know you're no longer here, but your love sure is. Oh, sunshine, I miss you forevermore, but thank you for giving me a reason to be no one but me. This is called We Are More Alike Than We Are Different. We are more alike than we are different. Our grief may belong to different names, to people who have left us in different ways. Some taken by nature, others by martyr, but somehow we still remain. Still carrying an aching of love that has no place left to go. Because we are more alike than we are different. may have sprung from a variety of unique seeds, may have blossomed in different colors, been nurtured by different hands, been sung in different tongues to different melodies, some soothing our wounds, some celebrating our innocence, reminding us of the existence of magic at some point. Both of our souls have had the pleasure of such a dance. Because we are more alike than we are different. Our familiarity with love may be woven in a unique pattern with the threads from our own distinct perspectives, sewn by the many needles that poke into us and away from us, the touch of a parent, the nudge of a pet, the one friend or the many, all connected by a strand that we have somehow come to know as love. Because we are more alike than we are different. The worst trauma that we have each endured may taste as different as rat poison and chocolate cake, may have been inflicted by something as small as the edge of a paper or as large as the explosion of a bomb. But the fact remains that each of our bodies has the capacity to feel a pain we never asked for. Because we are more alike than we are different. On the outside, we may be strangers, but on the inside, we all have our story. That if we took the time to listen to would reveal that I am not that much different than you, and you are not that much different than me. The names, places, and things, the flavors of love and joy and pain are all written in our souls in their own unique ways, but the moral of our stories remains. We are more alike than we are different. We are more alike than we are different. I said we are more alike than we are different. Thank you.
My city has a slogan. It says, "We are stronger than hate." Can't help but think, but if it were true, we probably wouldn't need it. But it looks nice graffitied over the blood at the Tree of Life massacre, sprinkled between racist comments on WPXI's Juneteenth post, or as the backdrop of the underpass where unhoused people build up tents and break down their pride. My city says it's stronger than hate. It knows because it arm wrestles it on the weekend while drinking ice cold beers, takes its family to church on Sunday. The church around the corner from me has a sign. It says, "Jesus is the only thing stronger than hate," and I can't tell if it's trying to mock my city or canonize it. We sing black and yellow from black and blue bodies. If you listen close enough, it does sound like a hymnal. My city loves Black men when they play on its sports teams, but hates its Black mayor. Coach Tomlin says he doesn't support the woke agenda and has his contract extended 2 years. My city is stronger than hate, the way they wish fire hoses were stronger than civil rights. And I know I'm just supposed to hear the slogan and buy the product. It was so cute dressed up in rainbows for pride. I almost forgot how gay men keep ending up in the river, but maybe I am the problem because I'm the one that's not stronger. Hate bullies me and takes my lunch money, takes my livelihood, but my city has this slogan. And I can't help but think if it were true, we probably wouldn't need it.
Our love is indescribable, as if we had never been in love before. You are the dancing angel to the dancing stars in my eyes. My lips have poems to kiss you to when we say, I do. Poems that make you nuzzle your nose on mine. Invisible strings bind you and me together. I have love poems that make you wanna ... If it ended today, my heart would be a tattered t-shirt. My heart will confess not once, but 2 times, causing the platonic of our heart-shaped love to twist and turn into an intertwined singular being, all seeing like intuition. Earth's eye in the blackened sky is falling into the unknown terrain. As it does, we walk into the everlasting of our love.
This one is called Sound Waves. Infatuation, completely overwhelmed and overcome. Sent into a stupor by the sound of the drum. Repetition of the rhythm regulates how my mind flows in cycles, moving in and out like the tide goes. Until I'm totally engrossed by every note, swimming in a sea of sound waves, trying to stay afloat. Maneuvering in a vessel composed of flesh and bone, the sound of waves crashing produces a metronome, navigating a body of water, trying to find my way. It's hard to find the words to say when everything is gray, but a ray of hope shines to keep the clouds at bay and provides the light by which I write this poem, helping me to find my way. A purpose, a meaning, a guide, a third eye light beaming from a lighthouse inside of my mind. I'm trying to find direction, but I look over the edge and all I see is my own reflection. So I look inward as my obsession grows and reaches from the depths of the ocean to the coast and the sandy beaches. My consciousness leaches onto that single ray of hope, but no matter how hard I'm trying, I keep finding myself in the same boat. Fixation, absorbed in an ocean of thoughts, yet at times I can't help but feeling it might be all for naught. With so much work I put into progressing on my journey, I'm worried my destination seems unclear and blurry. I feel stuck without a paddle on the high seas. I send this message in a bottle, hoping somebody will find me, and finally my word will be spread instead of finding the irony of me on a lifeboat left for dead. This poem will be heard if it kills me, even if I reach my destination ragged and filthy. I will be triumphant on my quest. Nonetheless, I'm hard pressed by hardships sailing in the depths. When will I reach the shore? I'm unsure, wondering just how much punishment I can endure. But no matter how much it hurts, I find myself wanting more, and I have never felt this way before.
It's called Robbed. So here goes. Robbed of opportunity to raise my own child. All I wanted was unity and manners that are mild. But what I got was wild. Accusations, they were piled up against a falling fence, and now I am exiled. Like barely in her life, being kept at a great distance. And nothing's gonna stop me, no, I come with great persistence. Coexistence ain't an option because of all of this resistance. And at first I tried to go alone, yes, court, with no assistance. Which honestly got me screwed, stuck behind the 8-ball. Don't want to be in this feud, fuck another great fall. Not gonna do it alone again. I need a good attorney to bring this thing right to the end without me on a gurney. Without another breakdown, without another dying, without another broken heart, I swear that I am trying. I swear that I give it my all despite all of this crying. And I won't quit, not if I stall, I'll glide and stay up flying. Applying all the lessons learned. Applying all the lessons learned. I'll try to stop this prying. A part my heart is feeling burned. My soul feels like it's frying. Not buying what they're selling. Don't want me to be free. And I think that it is telling that she won't let me be me. A dad, a father, papa, to my little girl. You know that I would stop a bullet to keep you in the world. You know that I have got to do it, you're my special pearl. I know that the first time I blew it, it makes me want to hurl. It makes me sick. I've been through this before, yes, as a kid. And I refuse to put you through what my parents did. Cause it rolls downhill. And I don't want you to get a mountain of that crap piled onto you. So I'll be kind. Yes, I'll be cordial. Won't talk behind her back. Won't wish the worst things to befall her. Won't go on the attack. I'll just sit back and let them swing themselves right out the ring. A rope of dope for what I bring. I hope the trope no doesn't sting. Wring out my heart, squeeze and twist, and you will see how much you're missed. How much I want to ball my fist. I think that now you get the gist. I'm getting pissed. Won't let it show. Cause it won't help, won't let you go. I know you felt the heavy blow. It's time to melt the ice and snow that grows around mommy's heart while keeping us apart. What grows around mommy's soul while keeping us apart. So profound that my role of dad could barely start. But it did, and it won't stop. You know you are my heart, never hid, always on top, and always in my art.
A shallow pool, a songbird sigh, a mask I wear, like creepy vines. Sunlight warms my cold lizard skin, my dyad mind. So breathe again. A garden of Eden, idle and awry, swordman of musings intertwined, pedestals of roses, thorn and vine, inward appearance sublime. Serenity and ego brushed aside. Steady poise to match the stone. These frogs. A robin sings behind the morning fog, marching parades of anthroponic escapades, tantalizer to haunt a fallen log, sprouting seedlings swaying toward the blue. Springtime, skies call me to beneath the pond, going on and on. The lotus jewel finally blooms. Inside my heart is moving too.
so many musings intertwine. Daisy flowers bloom underneath the moon. Inside my heart is blooming too. Inside my heart will bloom.
This piece is called Love in a Photograph. It's taken from a photograph, or it's written from a photograph by Margaret Blake in Show No Tell on Facebook. Show Not Tell. Shades on, radiant faces, and beaming heartfelt smiles. Two souls look lovingly into each other's eyes, blending in symmetry with the heavens. They dress with a simplicity which enhances their charisma and elegant looks. The man wearing white shirt and navy blue jeans, the woman long black hair loosely hanging to the right of her face. It augments her good looks, a yellow sunflower shaded dress sewn in red roses offering themselves to a transparent light. Within soft, captivating hues, cheeks beaming like sunshine and confident energies, they blend well within the firmament of a vast sky blue background. Scattering white clouds amidst the barely visible aquamarine ocean's crest merges with an ambience that includes the whites of the Caucasian skin tones. I see love in their faces. The young woman, not so demure, pretty, intimate, left hand clasped affectionately into the young man's right. He, gleeful, unabashed, his left and her right hands meeting tenderly around alluring waistlines like hero and heroine. Like a lover's tryst, both hearts dance in a silence whispering praises to the fresh breath of a magically beautiful summer's day. I call it the voice of love beckons. The voice of love beckons, and I, a mariner of millennia, set sail. My path is a spiral, and the tide moves with seasons. Yet I row with dauntless courage, following a luminous beacon to my golden shore. Like the sun, like clouds dissolving to reveal an azure sky, I move forwards, blending with the light that serves only to erase my shadows and lifts my joy. There was a time when my temperature truly raged indeed. I was scorched by a fiery passion I could not control, dining on caviar and desires creating inebriations that made my mood swing in the surreal dance of its nakedness. Alone in an arid desert, my attachments arose and burned like molten volcanoes. I found myself on summery beaches, holding on to transient cravings in the ebony of my nakedness. Wherever I gazed, passions arose with the heat of ghost in scant apparels, and desires swelled within like tears of veins, crying for another addictive fix. I saw the princesses of ephemeral shadows, believing them to be fireflies to play with, or twinkling stars like an infatuated lover. I dined with ghouls and shadows, and the heat of August, accompanied by the company I kept, the many strange cocktails I consumed, lent to my tantrums and the bizarre pleasures I consumed. But now I see beauty in the darkest nights and love in the face of the impoverished. I carry their pain in my heart and a prayer on my breath, all for the soul of love and the beloved. The tranquility of sunsets and snow-white flakes adorn my thoughts, and I walk majestically like peacocks. The beat of my heart remains steady, and I have donned the robes of wokeness from the fire of the love within, emitting sweetness from my soul. I sail ahead as the dark sunglasses have gone and the pain vanquished. The parched lip of dehydration is no more, and my feverish search for love has now been centered by the GPS of supernal light. I'm on the way to a reunion where the white clouds bewilder with heavenly opulence, and we'll watch the cute scenery together. Oh, love, your aroma is captivating like flowers, 10,000s. My breath tugs at the breeze of thy sweet-scentedness, and I leave behind me the stale scent of my summer madness, the unseemly tantrums that once singed the sacred profundity of my soul.
My love game is softer than Jason Tatum's buzzer beater game. Look at my career stats. The numbers don't lie. There's no killer instincts, no determination, just a lot of anxiety, anxiously taking flight. After so many shots, you kind of don't want to test any more hypotheses for love. What's the point? Who wants heartbreak on repeat on life's seemingly broken record player? My love game is weaker than my fragile heart when it comes to rejection. You think I'd be able to build callous after taking blunt trauma to my self-esteem and worth in others' eyes? Nah, not even close. The crater just becomes bigger as I become more hollowed out, as if heartbreak manifested itself as a consuming energy that sucks me whole. Rejection is a flying elbow drop off the top rope, even when I expect it, even when I embrace for impact. I know it's gonna suck no matter how it lands on me. Rejection is the death certificate of stillborn feelings. You can tell when the exact moment a part of you died, when something turns into nothing and left with nothing. Rejection is the feeling of trying to cash in and leaving empty-handed. One does not know the meaning of reward without knowing risk first. All it takes is one gamble to go right, but also the same to have it all go to shit. I'm not friends with rejection, yet rejection thinks we're in a relationship. Rejection is defending me from potential suitors like an overprotective, toxic significant other who mistakes anyone as a threat. I miss intimacy. I miss how sweet it could be. It's the nectar I don't think I'll taste again, so for all y'all, enjoy it while you can. I wish I did.
In the age of algorithms, nothing is true. The data is driven, and the vehicle is you. When the sun burns out, we'll light the world with tiny glowing screens, tiny glowing screens. When the sun burns out, we'll light the world with tiny glowing screens, tiny glowing screens. Stop, look and listen to Raining Death on the airwaves till you feel a comfortable numbing just between your ears. Free thought lulled into a dead calm, passiveness, subliminal mind rape, the assassination of the soul. Lifetime programming for women. Programming women. Movies for guys who like movies. No sissy boy chick flicks allowed here because everyone knows that real men still don't cry. They get even. When the sun burns out, we'll light the world with tiny glowing screens, tiny glowing screens. I can't tell if I should be terrified, troubled, irritated, or just plain pissed off at this quagmire of electrical currents trying to drown us all in the wake of 15-minute fame. Netflix, Xbox, satellite dish, how many channels do you wish? 100 million billion to choose from, but do any of them actually teach you anything even remotely close to real? Synthetic clothes, pathetic shows, what's in, what's out, what's new today? Shit, punk! That was old yesterday. While warm, wet mud, blood of our mother is scarred and infected with cold, hard concrete and steel. Birds and bees and flowers and trees are battered and bruised by self-starting signs, signs everywhere, a sign of one great big festering neon misdirection. I have a suggestion to keep you all occupied. learn to swim. Cause when the sun burns out, we'll light the world with tiny glowing screens, tiny glowing screens. When the sun burns out, we'll light the world with tiny glowing screens, tiny glowing screens. And for just $19.95, for just $24.95, for just $39.95 plus postage and handling, you too can own a piece of the American dream. But what they don't tell you is once you buy into that vacuum, you have to spend every waking moment of every breath of every day of every second of every time you wish you had the time just to stop by and say hi. But you're too busy trying to crawl and climb and rip and rend and tear and hope and pray just to survive, catch a glimpse of the sun. And if you're really lucky and, let's be honest, maybe a little obedient, you might even get to steal a 2-hour window into the lifestyles of the rich and famous. When the sun burns out, we'll light the world with tiny glowing screens, tiny glowing screens. Well, Saturday Slam Jam, I know where to find those birds and bees and flowers and trees and mud and blood. And I refuse to waste all my time wishing that I had more time with you. So when you come to my place of business, you'll just find a simple sign. Gone to open minds.
This is called Successful. Success is a member of my support group telling me she feels safe when I'm here. Success is the parent of a child I mentored, expressing their gratitude to me years later. Success is a stranger at the bar who saw me sketching and said I've inspired them to make art again. Success is a former student saying I helped them develop a sense of self-worth. Success is a stranger I invited to play volleyball, telling me a year later this kept them alive that day. Success is someone saying they can be themselves around me. Success is a grieving stranger telling me my presence feels comforting. Success is an audience member saying they learned something from me, or an observer of my art confessing I made them feel something. Success is someone asking me if I can teach them more about Narcan. Success is the voicemail from a client saying he wants to die but finds hope by calling me instead, even if I can't answer. Success is hearing you made me feel seen, or you made me feel heard, hearing I never thought about it like that before, hearing I trust you. Success is cradling his sobbing body in my arms as he grieves the loss of a love he's never felt safe enough to process. Success is helping a stranger at the laundromat when everyone else would rather call the cops. Success is my deceased partner's brother, replying to my condolences with a message that says, thank you for helping Clay find his song again. Success is my brother, drunkenly telling me that he looks up to me for the ways I put good into the world. Success is a stranger telling me my expression of childlike joy reminded them to feel their own. Success is my friend still being alive because I listened to my gut that knew he wasn't okay. Success is me still being alive because I've somehow found friends that love me in a way that makes me stay. Success is understanding that my success has very little to do with what I do and everything to do with how I make people feel. Understanding that none of these moments of success would exist without the existence of our shared humanity, because success is the act of choosing that over everything.
Frozen, frigid temperatures settle and nestle in the night. The cold air touches me for breath of it on my flesh. Bearing the mist of it all are the evergreen trees. Dangling branches hang from the evergreen trees. Suddenly, a bitter breeze sweeps across the branches. A vast amount of birds flying with massive power to the south, running from the cold to keep warm for the winter. Hibernating organisms hide in preparation for winter. Beautiful nature is a wonderful and bountiful force to be reckoned with.
Pull back, let go, hear that echo through the metropolitan central. Police sirens, they come firing, unarmed suspect, isn't this done yet? Strolling through the city, I can feel it breathing through me. Alive and I'm inside it like an act. The villain because they conforms, but the heroes are the ones who stand to break the social norms. Everybody opinions and they circulate over it like a cloud. They hit the ground. The fog is hard to see around, but as it lifts, I catch a glimpse of what is real and what is true, and I can form my own opinion without it becoming skewed by the news on the television that's biased to fit a narrative. We need to recognize oppression. It's imperative. Everywhere I turn, I see it, but can't believe it. Some have money to burn and others with nothing to eat. And the inequality is the product of intersectionality between race, class, gender, and your identity. Instead of considering all of mankind our brothers, we put ourselves into groups and everyone fights with each other. It's like a war zone, and we just want to live in peace, but there's police out here that stalk you like some rabid wildebeest. They're waiting for you to slip, waiting for you to trip. Soon as you do, they use abuse of power to their benefit, and it's sick. I keep my head down, I continue to walk, playing hopscotch over outlines in white chalk. Another one of my brothers is gone. I sit and pray and let the energy radiate, creating a wave that flows throughout the city and rings from every mountainside. Where some will flourish, others barely make it out alive, and peace is the answer. Though the process may be slow, it's better than the alternative of altercation. So don't let them control your mind with the way the system was designed. Now everybody's talking, but nobody really hears. Nobody really learns because they won't open their ears. I came here to open the eyes of those blinded, and poetry's my tool to pry open the closed-minded.
This is a song by Wild Child. This is called Silly Things. Silly things like diamond ring fall between other things like you and I. We used to have a coffee pot, used to love, sit around, talk about everything we always want, we'll never get it. Dreamer, still a dreamer, till you wake them up, sit them down, explain to them the sky is up and the earth is down, amongst other things. Like human beings really aren't what they seem. Lie, cheat and steal to get ahead of you. I'm afraid it's true. When the world comes crashing down, what are they to do? I'm not blaming you for being naive. Now just close your eyes and start dreaming. Dreaming about candlelight. Forget about stupid fights, it's funny to me. I don't remember a single thing we fought about. Now that I'm alone, but I guess that's how it goes. To remember every time that you kiss my neck. I miss that the best, won't be getting none of those. Now that you're an LA queen and away from me. Oh, darling, remember, please. People lie, cheat and steal, get ahead of you. I'm afraid it's true. When the world comes crashing down, what are they to do? I'm not blaming you for being naive. Now just close your eyes and start dreaming. Dreaming, oh. at your coffee pot, it hasn't been used since I last used you.
Life is like professional wrestling. You may start off with a shine, but life has a way of cutting you off, pouring the heat on you while you try to fire back up constantly in a seesaw battle of spiritual momentum. Life is the greatest act of improv we know. I put on an act everywhere I go. After 12 years of wrestling in front of crowds, I've become an expert on work in the crowd. My happy disposition is a false advertisement. I may look like I am made of oak, but inside I am a swamp shrouded by weeping willows. With every breath I take, I exhale an apocalypse. I may look like someone who has their shit together, but heaven knows I am miserable now. If I had a dime for every time I put my heart on the line and come up empty-handed, I would have a whole bunch of dimes. Enough dimes to fill up a sock and go hunting with. Enough dimes to furnish a mansion with. Enough dimes to fill up the Grand Canyon. Ha! When it comes to falling short, I stand tall, dwarfing giants. I might even make it on a textbook, and a whole new generation can learn how to prevent themselves from making the same mistakes that made me the clown prince of childhood and adulthood through mass distribution to every elementary school nationwide, teaching them early. I guess that's cool, right? Teaching the future to be teaching the future to not be quite the mess that I am, right? Preventing more versions of me so that they can have a better quality of life, right? Is that noble, America? Do I have your attention now? Who's keeping score? I'm surprised my wallet hasn't pulled out a Glock on me and turned off the safety lock, or a bitch slapped me smart to stop me from making any more mistakes. If life was a dance floor, I would not know what to do because nothing feels right. This ain't my vibe. I don't want to be on this dance floor anymore. My feet have lost their rhythm. I gave no consent to be living here, and at times I wish I was brave enough to give myself consent to end it. However, this is not how I'm going to finish my story. There is so much more to life that hasn't been experienced yet. So many chapters to be written, so many memories to be had. Therefore, I'm compelled to endure the gauntlet and see what kind of mutation I become. Yeah, I want to drown in the ooze that birthed the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and kick ass and eat pizza every day. Admit it. That sounds fucking awesome. That's actually wish I had when I was 3 years old. The idea of not being human had such a strong level of appeal for me back then and still does today. If you are looking to get advice from me, please don't, unless you're into spiritual sadism. Don't worry, I don't kink shame. I can relate. On second thought, maybe I could teach y'all a thing or two on how it's like to shut off your emotions after self-inflicted wounds to the spirits. What to do when your heart has been through enough malice that makes you emotionally callous, but most importantly, what to do and what not to do when coping with unrequited feelings and how to properly dispose them. You will learn a lot from me. Maybe so much that I can be a professor with a PhD in emotional catastrophe. I can tour the world and give TED Talks, getting rave reviews from audiences worldwide, establish enough income to seclude myself from society in record time that as if I was having a Kickstarter for loneliness. Yeah, that's the spirit. Let's exploit pain into profit, just like professional wrestling. Anyways, if this money-making scheme works, I don't spend 10 years working at a non-profit job to erase my student loan debt. I just got to figure out a way to relay my hurt into healing and make it rain from a world of pain. Call me Rainmaker of Wisdom. I have laughed hard in the face of adversity, puked my brains out like a college jock boy who couldn't handle the drink. I have done the gritty through the baptism of fire and did the worm with floors covered in the shattered glass of my broken dreams, loving every millisecond of the pain because it reminds me if I can bleed, I can feel. And if I can feel, I can heal. I have spat in the face of God while punching Satan in his stupid face and kicking Wolfman in the nards. I didn't go through the limbo line at Hell's Gate for fun. I came for the experience, to remind me that to no good I had to go through a whole lot of bad, thinking that at the end I would be gracious for the brief commercial breaks from life's dull programming that I could wish I could unsubscribe from. All this pain and trauma clearly affected more than my memory. Perhaps the ability to read vibes because I am illiterate as fuck and I can't afford the higher education. Perhaps the ability to feel pain and mistaking it for pleasure. My current mindset reminds me way too much of Mick Foley after an extensive career of deathmatch wrestling. I'm beaten, battered, and scarred, but I find a way to take more of a licking and keep on ticking and say, ha, have a nice day. With a fake-ass smile on my face. I'm used to that retail life. I know how to hide all that in. This shit ain't nothing to me, man. I have a Timex mindset that goes harder than a diamond mine. If it is the only way I know how to survive. Under any means necessary. Power to the people and power to the feeble. Quick shout out to Melvin Van Peebles. I'm going to sing my own badass song from here on out. Somehow, some way, I'll overcome whatever pain that comes my way. I guess the point of all this is to simply convey that this is not a cry for help. I don't want pity. Only harsh reality I need to embrace in the fashion of a mother towards a newborn. In conclusion, life is the strangest story we know. I'm not okay, but I'm trying. I'm sorry, and control your narrative. It's the only one you get.